2 months had passed since the contract was torn. 2 months of something Kashara never thought she would have again. Happiness. Real happiness. The kind that sneaks up on you when you're not looking. The kind that makes you forget you were ever broken. The kind that terrifies you because you know how quickly it can disappear. Every morning, Kashara woke up in the east wing of the Shin estate. Every morning, she had breakfast with her husband in the garden pavilion. Every morning, she reminded herself that this was real, that she wasn't dreaming, that she had actually found her way here. She was no longer just the CEO's wife. She was senior consultant for international partnerships at Hanul Corporation, a real position, real responsibilities, real power. She had earned it. Her days were filled with meetings, negotiations, strategy sessions. She spoke 4 languages fluently, and she used every single one. The employees who had once whispered about her now respected her. The board members who had doubted her now sought her advice. The media who had called her a publicity stunt now called her formidable. Kashara Whitmore Shin had arrived, and she was not going anywhere. But happiness, as Kashara knew all too well, never lasts forever. It started with a phone call. Kashara was in her office at Hanul Corporation, reviewing contracts, preparing for a meeting with investors from Singapore. Her 3rd cup of coffee was getting cold on her desk. Her assistant knocked on the door. "Mrs. Shin?" "Yes. There's someone on the phone for you." "They say it's urgent." Kashara frowned. "Who is it?" "They wouldn't give a name, but they said—" Her assistant hesitated. "They said to tell you. The past always catches up." Kashara's blood ran cold. That phrase. She knew that phrase. "Transfer the call," she said. Her voice was steady, but her heart was racing. The phone rang once. She picked it up. "Hello, Kashara." The voice was familiar, hauntingly familiar, a voice she hadn't heard in over a decade. "Mama," Kashara whispered. Denise Whitmore, the woman who had given birth to her, the woman who had abandoned her at age 7, the woman who had chosen drugs over her own daughter, the woman who had disappeared and never looked back. "Surprised to hear from me?" Denise asked. "How did you get this number?" "Baby girl, you're all over the news. The American woman who married the Korean billionaire. Hard to miss." Kashara closed her eyes. Of course, the media coverage, the magazine interviews, the photographs that had spread around the world. She had become famous, and fame attracts vultures. "What do you want?" Kashara asked. Her voice was cold, hard, the voice of a woman who had learned to protect herself. "I'm in Seoul," Denise said. "I want to see you. I want to explain." "Explain what?" "How you left me at a bus station when I was 7. How you walked away and never came back. How I spent 11 years in foster care because you couldn't stay clean." "I was sick, Kashara. I was an addict. Save it," Kashara's voice cracked. "I don't want to hear your excuses." Silence on the other end. Then a shaky breath. "I'm dying, Kashara." The words hit like a physical blow. "What?" "Cancer. Stage 4. Pancreatic. The doctors say I have maybe 6 months, maybe less." Kashara gripped the phone so hard her knuckles turned white. "You're lying." "I'm not. I have the medical records. I can show you. I didn't come here for money. I didn't come here to cause problems. I needed to see you. One last time. Before I go." Kashara couldn't speak, couldn't think, couldn't process what she was hearing. "I'm staying at a hotel in Itaewon," Denise continued. "The Blue Moon Inn, room 304. If you want to see me, I'll be there. If you don't, I understand. But I had to try, baby girl. I had to try." The line went dead. Kashara sat frozen at her desk. Her mother, here, in Seoul, dying. 20 years of silence, 20 years of anger, 20 years of wondering why she wasn't enough. And now, this. She didn't know how long she sat there. Minutes, maybe hours. The light outside her window changed from bright to dim. Finally. Her phone buzzed. A message from Taijun. Working late? I'll wait for you at home. Home. He called it home. Their home. Kashara took a deep breath. She gathered her things. She left the office. And she went home to tell her husband everything. The Shin estate was quiet when she arrived. The staff had retired for the evening. Only the security lights illuminated the traditional Korean gardens. Kashara found Taijun in his study. He was surrounded by documents, his reading glasses perched on his nose. He looked up when she entered, and immediately knew something was wrong. What happened? He asked. My mother called, Kashara said. She's here, in Seoul. She says she's dying. Taejun's expression shifted. Concern, of protectiveness, calculation. Tell me everything, he said. And Kashara told him everything. About her childhood, about Denise's addiction, about the day she was abandoned at a bus station in Atlanta, about the foster homes, the loneliness, the years of feeling unwanted. She had never told anyone the full story, not even Brandon, during their 2 years together. But with Taejun, the words just came, like a dam breaking, like a wound finally being cleaned. When she finished, she was crying. She hadn't realized she was crying, but her face was wet with tears. Taejun pulled her close. He held her against his chest. He didn't speak, he just held her. What do I do? Kashara finally asked. Part of me wants to see her, to understand, to, I don't know, get closure. But part of me is so angry, still, after all these years. Part of me wants to tell her to go to hell. Both parts are valid, Taijun said quietly. Both parts are you. The question is, which part do you want to lead? Kashara pulled back. She looked at him. What would you do? Taijun was quiet for a moment. My father was cruel, he said finally. He raised me to be a weapon, a machine. He never told me he loved me, not once. When he died, I felt nothing. No grief, no relief, just emptiness. I always wished I had confronted him, told him how much he hurt me. But I never got the chance. He died. And I was left with all these words I never said. He took Kashara's face in his hands. He looked into her eyes. You have a chance I never had, he said. A chance to say everything you need to say. That doesn't mean you have to forgive her. It just means you get to be heard. Kashara closed her eyes. She let his words sink in. Will you come with me? She asked. If you want me there, I'm there. I want you there. Then I'm there. The next morning, they went to the Blue Moon Inn. It was a modest hotel, clean but cheap, the kind of place tourists stayed when they couldn't afford anything better. Kashara stood outside room 304. Taijun was beside her. His presence was steady, reassuring. She raised her hand to knock, hesitated, then knocked. Footsteps inside. The door opened, and Kashara saw her mother for the first time in 20 years. Denise Whitmore looked small, fragile. The years had carved lines into her face. Her hair was thin and streaked with gray. Her body was gaunt. Illness had taken its toll, but her eyes were the same eyes Kashara saw every time she looked in the mirror. Baby girl, Denise whispered. You came. Don't call me that, Kashara said. Her voice was harder than she intended. You haven't earned that. Denise flinched, but she nodded. You're right, I'm sorry. Can I at least invite you in? Kashara glanced at Taijun. He gave a small nod. They entered the room. It was small. A single bed, a dresser, a window overlooking a busy street. Medical documents were spread across the dresser, pill bottles lined up like soldiers, evidence of a body at war with itself. Denise sat on the edge of the bed. Kashara remained standing. Taijun stood near the door, watchful, protective. Thank you for coming, Denise said. I know you didn't have to. I know I don't deserve it." "You're right," Kashara said. "You don't. So explain to me, why should I give you even 5 minutes of my time?" Denise took a shaky breath. "Because I owe you the truth. I owe you my story. Not as an excuse, but as an explanation. You deserve to know why things happened the way they did." Kashara crossed her arms. "I'm listening." Denise looked down at her hands, thin, trembling, the hands of a woman who had lived hard and was dying harder. "I grew up poor," she began. "Dirt poor, in a house with no running water half the time. My mama was mean, cruel. She used to beat me for breathing too loud. By the time I was 13, I was already drinking, already looking for escape. By 15, I found harder stuff, and that was the beginning of the end." She paused, took a breath. "I met your father when I was 19. Jabari Whitmore. He was beautiful, kind, the first person who ever made me feel worth something. We were going to get married, going to have a family, going to escape together. But then," her voice cracked, "he was killed. Robbery at a gas station. Wrong place. Wrong time. I was 6 months pregnant with you." Kashara felt her chest tighten. She had never known her father, had never even known his name. Brandon had never asked about her past. Tae-Jun had asked, but she hadn't been ready to share. Now, she was hearing it from the woman who had been there. "After Jabari died, I broke," Denise continued. "Completely broke. The drugs got worse. Everything got worse. But when you were born, I tried. I really tried. For 7 years. I tried to be a good mother. But the addiction was stronger. The pain was deeper. And one day, I realized I was going to destroy you. I was going to take you down with me. So I made a choice." Tears were streaming down Denise's face now. "I left you at that bus station, not because I didn't love you, but because I loved you too much to watch you suffer. I thought you would be better off, in the system, away from me. I thought someone else could give you what I couldn't." "And did you ever think about coming back?" Kashara demanded. "Did you ever think about finding me?" "Every single day," Denise whispered. "Every single day for 20 years. But by the time I got clean, by the time I was stable, you were already in college, already building your life. I didn't want to disrupt that. Didn't want to bring my mess into your success. So I watched from a distance, newspaper articles, social media. I watched you graduate, watched you move abroad. And I was so proud, Kashara, so proud of who you became. Despite me, not because of me." Kashara's throat was tight. Her eyes were burning. "Why now?" she asked. "Why come now, when you're dying?" "Because I'm out of time," Denise said. "Because I can't leave this world without you knowing the truth. Without you knowing that I'm sorry. Without you knowing that you were always loved, even when I wasn't there to show it." Silence filled the room, heavy, suffocating. 20 years of silence, finally broken. Kashara didn't know what to say, what to feel, how to process any of this. She looked at Tae-Jun. His eyes met hers, steady, supportive, letting her know he was there, whatever she decided. She looked back at her mother, this broken woman, this stranger who shared her face. "I don't forgive you," Kashara said. Her voice was quiet, but firm. "I'm not there yet. I may never be." Denise nodded. "I understand." "But," Kashara took a breath, "I'm not going to send you away. If you're really dying, you can stay in Seoul. We can talk, try to understand each other. I can't promise more than that." Denise's face crumpled. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, Kashara." Kashara turned toward the door, then stopped. "I'll have my assistant find you better accommodation," she said. "Somewhere comfortable, with proper medical care. This hotel is not suitable. You don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. She walked out without looking back. Taijun followed. In the car, Kashara finally let herself breathe. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was pounding. Taijun took her hand. He didn't say anything. He just held on. I don't know if I did the right thing, Kashara said. There is no right thing, Taijun replied. There's just the thing you can live with. Can you live with this? Kashara thought about it. I think so. I think I need to know who she is before she's gone. I need answers, even if they hurt. Then you made the right choice. Kashara leaned against him. Let herself be held. Let herself be weak, just for a moment. Thank you, she whispered, for being here. For not judging me. For everything. You don't have to thank me, Taijun said. You're my wife. Where you go, I go. Whatever you face, we face together. Kashara closed her eyes. She let his words wash over her, let herself believe them. She had spent so long alone, fighting alone, surviving alone. Now, she had a partner, a true partner, and that made all the difference. The weeks that followed were intense. Kashara met with Denise regularly. Dinners at quiet restaurants, walks through Seoul's parks, long conversations that sometimes ended in tears, and sometimes ended in silence. She learned things she had never known, about her father Jabari, about Denise's own abusive childhood, about the cycles of pain that had shaped their family for generations. None of it excused what Denise had done, but it helped Kashara understand. Understanding didn't mean forgiveness, but it meant less anger, less weight, less of the burden Kashara had been carrying for 20 years. Slowly, something began to heal. But just as things were stabilizing with Denise, chaos erupted from another direction. It started with Brandon. She was leaving the office late one evening. The parking garage was empty. Her heels echoed against the concrete. And then she saw him, leaning against her car, waiting. Brandon Hayes, the man she had almost married, the man who had betrayed her, the man who had run away when the scandal broke. He looked terrible, unshaven, exhausted. His expensive suit was wrinkled. His eyes were bloodshot. Keshara, he said. His voice was desperate. Please, just hear me out. Keshara stopped 10 feet away. She didn't move closer. How did you get in here? I still have my old access badge. They haven't deactivated it yet. She made a mental note to fix that. What do you want, Brandon? I want you, he said. I want us back. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but I still love you. Kashara stared at him. This man, this weak, selfish, pathetic man. She had almost built a life with him. She had almost given him her future. And now, looking at him, she felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no longing, just emptiness. You made a mistake, she repeated. That's what you call it? You cheated on me, got another woman pregnant, planned to marry me while hiding her. And when everything fell apart, you ran. You abandoned your pregnant mistress, fled the country. And now, a year later, you show up wanting me back? When you say it like that, there's no other way to say it, Brandon. Those are the facts. Those are your choices. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped to ice. Let me make something very clear. I am not your backup plan. I am not your second choice. I am not the woman you crawl back to when everything else fails. Kashara, please. I am Kashara Whitmore Shin, wife of the most powerful man in Seoul, senior executive at Hanul Corporation, a woman who turned your betrayal into an empire. She leaned in close. Her eyes were cold. And you are nothing to me. Not anymore. Not ever again. Brandon's face went pale. You don't mean that. I mean every single word. She straightened. She smoothed her coat. She looked at him one final time. Go home, Brandon. Go back to America. Find whatever's left of your pathetic life and rebuild it. But do not come near me again. Because the next time you show up, it won't be security escorting you out. It will be lawyers. And my husband's lawyers are very expensive. Brandon opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. Kashara walked past him, got in her car, drove away. She didn't look in the rearview mirror, not once. That night, she told Taijun what happened. They were in their bedroom, the room they now shared, not separate quarters anymore, not the careful distance of their contract days. A real bedroom, a real marriage. Taejun listened without interrupting. His jaw tightened when she described finding Brandon at her car. His hands clenched when she repeated Brandon's words. But he didn't explode. He didn't rage. He waited until she was finished. "Are you all right?" he asked. "I'm fine," Kashara said. "Actually, I'm better than fine." Seeing him, talking to him, it confirmed what I already knew. I made the right choice. Leaving him, marrying you, building this life. It was all exactly right. Taijun's expression softened. "I'm proud of you," he said. "The way you handled him, the strength you showed. You didn't need me to rescue you. You rescued yourself," Kashara smiled. "I learned from the best." She crossed to him. She wrapped her arms around his neck. She looked into his eyes. "I love you, Shin Taejun. I love you too, Kashara Whitmore Shin." They held each other. Two people who had started as strangers, who had become partners, who had become everything. 3 weeks after Brandon's pathetic attempt to win her back, Kashara received an unexpected message. It was from Yoon Seo-yeon, the woman who had been pregnant with Brandon's child, the woman Kashara had spoken to, all those months ago, the woman she had told to figure it out. The message was simple. "Mrs. Shin, I wanted you to know. I figured it out. Thank you." Attached was a photograph. Kashara opened it, and she smiled. Seo-yeon was standing in front of a small bakery. A bakery, with her name on the sign. Yoon's sweet beginning. In her arms was a baby, a beautiful baby girl. Chubby cheeks, bright eyes, dressed in pink. Seo-yeon looked different. Not the broken woman who had cried in Kashara's office. Not the abandoned mistress who had begged for guidance. She looked strong, confident, like a woman who had rebuilt herself from nothing. The message continued. "Her name is Yoon Ha-eun. She has her father's eyes, but she will have my strength. I used the money my grandmother left me, started small, worked hard. The bakery opened last month. We're already profitable. Brandon has never met her, never asked, never sent a single one. And honestly, that's fine. She doesn't need a father who runs. She has a mother who stays." Kashara read those words 3 times. She has a mother who stays. She thought about her own mother, Denise, who hadn't stayed, who had run, who had left a 7-year-old girl waiting at a bus station. And she thought about Seo-yeon, a woman who had every reason to fall apart, every excuse to be a victim, but who had chosen differently. Kashara typed back a response. "I'm proud of you. Ha-eun is lucky to have you. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me." She hesitated, then added one more line. "Mothers who stay change everything." She sent the message, and she felt something settle inside her. This was how it should end. Not with revenge, not with bitterness, but with 2 women. Both betrayed by the same worthless man, rising anyway, building anyway, thriving anyway. As Brandon Hayes had tried to destroy them both, and they had both turned his destruction into foundations. Seo-yeon had her bakery, her daughter, her new beginning. Kashara had her husband, her career, her empire. And Brandon? Brandon had nothing. No job, no fiancé, no mistress, no daughter he would ever know, just the ruins of every relationship he had burned. Karma, Kashara thought, didn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it came quietly, in the success of the women you underestimated, in the joy of the lives you tried to break, in the happiness that happened without you. She closed her phone. She smiled. And she went home to her husband. 3 months later, Kashara discovered she was pregnant. She found out on a Tuesday morning, a home test, 2 pink lines, clear as day. She sat on the bathroom floor, staring at the test, trying to process what it meant. A baby, their baby, a life growing inside her. She thought about her own mother, about the cycles of pain, about the fear of repeating mistakes. Could she be a good mother? Did she even know how? She had never had an example to follow, only examples of what not to do. Her hands were shaking when she finally stood. Her heart was racing when she walked to Taijun's study. Her voice was trembling when she knocked on the door. "Come in," he called. She entered. He looked up from his documents, saw her face, immediately stood. "What's wrong? What happened?" Kashara couldn't speak. She just held up the test. Oh, Taejun stared at it. His eyes widened, his mouth opened. "Is that? I'm pregnant." Silence. Complete silence. Then, Taejun crossed the room in 2 strides. He pulled her into his arms. He held her so tight she could barely breathe. "A baby," he whispered. "We're having a baby." "Are you happy?" Kashara asked. Her voice was small, uncertain. He pulled back. He looked at her with eyes full of wonder. "Happy? I don't have words. You have given me everything, Kashara. A partner, a purpose, a reason to be better. And now, or a family. I didn't know I wanted this. I didn't know I could have this. But now that I do." He placed his hand on her stomach, gently, reverently. "Now I have everything." Tears streamed down Kashara's face. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I don't know how to be a mother. I never had one, not really. What if I fail? What if I become like her?" "You won't," Taijun said firmly. "You know why? Because you're already asking the questions she never asked. You're already worried about being good enough. That worry, that care, that's what makes a good parent. Bad parents don't worry. Bad parents don't care. You care more than anyone I've ever known." Kashara let out a shaky breath. "Wait, you really believe that?" "I know that. And I'll be right beside you, every step. We'll figure this out together. Like we figure everything out. Together." That word again. The word that had changed everything. Kashara leaned into him. Let herself be held. Let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, she could do this. 8 months later, Shin Min-jun was born. A healthy baby boy. 7 pounds, 8 ounces, with his father's sharp features, his mother's warm brown skin, and eyes that held the promise of both worlds. Kashara held him in the hospital, exhausted, overwhelmed, completely, utterly in love. Taijun sat beside her, his hand on her shoulder, his eyes fixed on their son, wonder on his face. "He's perfect," he whispered. "He's ours," Kashara replied. "He's the best of both of us." The door opened softly. Denise stood in the doorway. She was thinner now, weaker, using a cane. The cancer was progressing. But she had held on, determined, stubborn, refusing to die before she met her grandchild. "Can I?" she asked hesitantly. Kashara looked at her mother, this woman who had caused so much pain, this woman who was trying so hard to make amends, this woman who had, perhaps, done her best with what she had. "Come in," Kashara said. "Come meet your grandson." Denise approached slowly, each step an effort. She looked at the baby with tears in her eyes. "He's beautiful," she whispered. "Oh, just like his mama." Kashara felt something shift inside her, something old, something heavy, something that had been weighing her down for 20 years. "Would you like to hold him?" she asked. Denise's eyes widened. "Really? You'd let me?" "Yes, I would." Carefully, gently. Kishara transferred Minjun to her mother's arms. Denise held him like he was made of glass, like he was the most precious thing in the world, like holding him was healing something inside her too. "I don't deserve this," she whispered. "None of us deserve anything. We just do the best we can. And we hope that love is enough." It wasn't forgiveness, not completely. The scars were too deep, the years too long. But it was something. Of peace, acceptance, the beginning of letting go. Denise passed away 6 weeks later, peacefully, in her sleep. It was hard. Harder than Kishara expected, grieving for a mother she had only begun to know, mourning a relationship that might have been. But she didn't fall apart. She had too much to live for now, a husband who loved her, a son who needed her, a life she had built from the ashes. Because that's what Kishara Whitmore Shin did. She survived, she adapted, she rose. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment telling me, what hit you the hardest? Was it the reunion with Denise? The confrontation with Brandon? Yoon Seo-yeon newfound strength? Or the birth of baby Minjun?